Jeff, Clark, and myself woke up and rigged the kite. We're riding out right now with the Hobie cats that are all racing to Havana, Cuba. So Cuba is that way. To Cuba! Last year around this time there was a sailboat race called the Havana Classic, and Richard Hatch, the owner of Salute, a friend of mine, he went out there and did the race. There's 6 sailboats, Hobie cats, that there's 16 foot each, and they sailed from Key West to Cuba, and it was a pretty intense race. Like 3 of the boats sunk and 3 of the boats made it, so it was a pretty wild time. But me, Louis Ray, a good friend of mine, and Jeff Clark, we sailed out with them around 6:30 in the morning. We left and launched from Southernmost Beach. We went out to Sand Key Lighthouse and out into the Gulf of Mexico, or the Gulf Stream there. Our friends Rio and Andrew, they won the race, and then Richard placed 3rd out of the 3 that made it, and then the 3 that sunk had to be rescued. So it's a pretty intense race. I've really been thinking about kiting over there, but seems like it might not work out this year, unfortunately, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, Havana Classic coming up this year. It should be pretty exciting, so check it out. But now I'm here to teach you how to do a jump on a foilboard. So the first step in jumping on a foilboard, if the water's here, you want your mast to be halfway out of the water, because you don't want it to be too low where you have to pop and launch it all the way out of the water, but you don't want it to be too high where you don't get enough time to actually get the pop. So first step is just keep your mast halfway out of the water before you send the jump. The second step is send the kite normal, but pop right before the kite goes up in the air. So you gotta keep in mind that you have like a 3 to 4 foot mast you're working with, so you gotta keep your mast like in the middle, and then you're gonna send the kite, and then right before the kite hits 12 is when you're gonna pop, because you think of your kite popping and your foil popping at the same time. So the twin tip, your kite gets above your head and then you pop, because all you have is a regular board. But with the foil, your wing is underneath, so you have to give it a little extra time for it to launch out of the water. So pop right before your kite goes up to 12 o'clock, that way it times it where right as your foil is coming out of the water, your kite will be above your head. So that's step number 2. So step 3 is to angle the wing away from you. So as you're going, your mast is halfway out of the water, you push down, you pop, and then as your foil goes up, you want it to angle away from you so that it shoots up into the air, because if you pop and then just keep it underneath you, then all of that weight is going to be hanging underneath you. You want to pop your foil up and kind of upwind as you go, and then that'll launch it into the air to get you some extra height. And once you get it down, you can actually jump way higher on a foil because you get a lot more momentum built up. But yeah, step number 4 is just keep it angled away from you, keep it compact and close to you so that it doesn't fly away. Step number 4 is stay compact, because you have a 4 foot wing underneath you that's hanging around. So if you're straight, it's just going to be kind of swinging around. So just kind of lock yourself in. So lock your ankles, lock your toes, and just make sure that as you're doing that, the foil stays under control. So just stay compact. The smaller you are, the easier it is to keep everything in a line. So step number 5 is the landing. If you think of last week I got to fly an airplane, so it kind of helps. But instead of the runway here, your runway is underneath. You want to go all the way down with your wings. As you come down, point your nose gently down into the water. So the foil goes into the water, and then as soon as it goes under, you just gently push back, and it just is kind of like a brake. So your foil goes into the water, like maybe a foot, and you just push back, and then that catches you, and you just keep your weight over. You want to make sure you stay really balanced, because that's the hardest part of jumping, is once you get out of the water, actually coming down and floating away. So once you get it down, you can get it where you float and you don't even touch the water with your board. But as you're starting, just kind of point the board downwind, hit the foil in the water, just land completely flat on your board, because you don't want to be on any edge of the foil at all, because then that's going to launch you up and down like a roller coaster. So biggest thing, step number 5, is the landing. Just make sure you just gently point your wing down so it goes into the water. And as soon as it does, then your weight's kind of like this. You just kind of lean back a little bit, stand straight, keep everything locked, and make sure to keep all your weight over your front knee, but just kind of gently lean back so that it catches you and then you can float away. Then once you get it down, just make sure to point it in, and then once the halfway underneath, just lean back and you can catch yourself and not even have your board touch the water. So that's how to jump on a foil board. I hope that helps, and we'll keep these going. So just let me know if you have any requests on more videos or anything like that.